Well, everybody, here it is, 6 o'clock on Sunday, the 10th of May, near 2026. Sorry I look all and crusty. I just came in from the studio about a few minutes ago. Out there working. Excuse me, I've got a little bit of upset tummy here and acids. So let's see if anybody shows up. Nobody showed up yet. Well, it has been a day. Let's see, what should we talk about? Oh, my daughter's here. Hey, Alex. Hello, Jack. You guys can make it. Let me get rid of this stuff here. It's been a long day. That's better. I got to stay hydrated. I've been kind of naughty keeping up with that. So, anyway, anybody want you to have any questions, please feel free to ask. I mean, I'm just sitting here talking to myself. I got an interesting email from somebody a couple of days ago asking why I don't do more of the how do you put it? Flash and bang, like the other so-called internet smiths do here on YouTube. Like so-and-so does this, so-and-so does that, can he do it, and everything else. That's entertainment. I'm not in the entertainment business. Never was, never want to be, never will be. I'm not doing these videos for entertainment value. I am doing these videos to, how do you put it, educate and enlighten, and to keep this craft from dying. That's why I'm doing it. If you want to watch the other guys, go ahead. You want to be entertained, go ahead. I'm not in the entertainment business. I am more important. It's more important to me to get out good solid information than to have somebody watch me sit there and work on something I've done a million of and be bored. I'm not in that business. That's not what I intend to do. That's not what I will do. I'm going to keep these videos as informative and as information-packed as I can. I'm limited quite severely by the fact that I don't have a cameraman. I'm doing everything by a static camera and remote, which means there are some things I can do okay, and some things I can do really well, and there's other things that I can't do at all. Plus, I got to figure out how to edit all these things together, and that's another skill set for the old bastard. But if you want to watch the other guys, go ahead and watch the other guys. If which country gives me the most joy? This country gives me the most joy. It's the freest country in the world. What are you talking about, Alex? Jeez, you know better than that. Tradition and so forth. Malaysia. But let me get back to what I was saying before. I'll revisit this. So I am into this more to show people how to do things, help solve problems, challenge them to do other things, get out of their comfort zone. Because you gotta push your limits. If you don't push your limits, there's no growth. I mean, if Henry Ford and Daimler Benz and Ferdinand Porsche and all those other people started just making the same car over and over again, we'd still be driving Model A's and early Mercedes. Okay? There's got to be growth in the industry. You got to look at things with new eyes. And this is what I like to see about getting new people in there, because people do the same thing over and over again, and they get comfortable with it. They don't want to get out of that comfort zone. And in order to grow in this, especially this line of work, this is not a line of work. This is a way of life. The way of the hammer and the forge is not an easy living. It never has been, never will be. It's hot. It's tiresome. It's not without its hazards and dangers. And it's challenging. In order to keep growing, you got to keep expanding. This is why I wrote the books, and this is what I'm trying to do with these videos. I'm trying to keep these things alive, and I'm not getting any younger. Okay, I've been on this planet a long time, and one of these days I'm not going to be here, and that'd be fine for me because I'm ready to go. Oh yeah, I'm ready to go. But my family's notoriously long lived, so I'll probably be around 100, 102. My meaning of life is to be shot at the age of 104 by a jealous 19-year-old husband. But be that as it may, it's when you start getting out of your comfort zone and you start learning new things as you continue to grow. And as you learn these things, they become incorporated into your work, and they will in turn become like mundane. So, which means you got to add to that. So it's a continuously growing cycle. I'm not, I've never made a mistake. I've had a learning moment. I learned things that didn't work. Okay, I must have made 100,000 of these things, and I found 100,000 ways not to do something that works. Okay, but you got to work. You learn more from your failures than you do your successes, and it's really not a failure if you walk away from it and solve the problem. Now, some problems take a little longer. Some are harder. Some are so blatantly simple, you look right over them. You scratch your head going, what the hell? This can't be that easy. And it turns out because everything is set in its own time, and everything has its own natural flow and order. So, as I was saying, I want to keep this channel and these episodes and these little videos, I want to keep them short. I don't want any more like 10, 15 minutes. I like to keep that the 2 to 3 minute one, because face it, there's very few things in this processes that take longer than a couple of minutes. I mean, you only get like about a minute or two in a heat, and by then it's got to go back in the fire. And file work, that goes quick. So I want to keep these concise. I want to keep them on subject. They're not going to be in any particular order. Whatever I'm working on, and I'll show you that day. I got to figure out a way to get better video quality as far as the shots go and the framing and the shot setup, but I'm going to need somebody else to help me in that. But I work alone, so I'm doing the best I can with what I got. Actually, I think I'm doing okay. There's a lot of room for improvement, but I think I'm doing okay. Compared to when I first started out a year ago, I'm that much higher than I was. Now, to answer my daughter's question, what country brings you to the most joy? Well, it's got to be Malaysia, Indonesia, that area in there, because if you go up to what these people were doing, these smiths, these impus, they have a strong bladesmithing culture, and they're working basically on a rock for an anvil, which is nothing wrong with that. And a forge is basically a hole in the ground, and they're using charcoal as a fuel source. Nothing wrong with charcoal. Charcoal is the original blacksmithing fuel. They've introduced fossil fuels, hard coal, soft coal, bituminous, anthracite, all the other ones, coke. It's amazing what they can do with time and skill. I mean, when I was over there many years ago, I went up into the hill kind, and it's amazing just sitting there and watching. Now, I had a couple of advantages and a couple of disadvantages. The big disadvantage I had was I was an American. I was U.S. I was a U.S. guy, and I wasn't Christian, so that was an advantage for me. Because a lot of these empus up there, they're basically it's either Muslim or a lot of Buddhists and Hindus, mostly Muslim. Though you do have some traditional Malaysian religions there. And I had another advantage is I was a blacksmith. I started asking the right questions. They said, okay, a lot of this was done through an interpreter. My Malay is not that great. It got a little bit better, but it's still not as good as it should be. It's not as good as my Greek. But it's when you start asking these questions and you see what these guys are working with. I mean, it's basically a rock or a piece of the one guy I was talking to, his name was Salman, the Salima, but I can't really say his name. I think it was by Sal. He was working on a chunk of hydraulic ram, about 8 inches in diameter, sunk about maybe 2 feet in the ground. He was on the floor. He was on the ground. He was sitting, scooped over. He has forge on one side, has an anvil there, has hammer in his hand, and a pair of really, really neat looking tongs, a big pair of pliers. And he would go over there and just grab the thing and whap, grab the thing, whap, put it back in the fire, get it hot, pull it out, weld it up. And he had a rhythm on him like you wouldn't believe. He knew that steel one side, not the other. And I learned a lot because I always thought when they built the Keras, it was done in one block and then, forged from there. I was wrong. Both sides are forged, and then the blade, the steel is put in the middle. So the right side, the left side, and the middle, and it works from there. And to watch them, what they did with very rudimentary tools, it is amazing just to watch. And these people, they would scrape, and they would work, and they would scrape, and they'd file, and they'd rub, and they'd file, and do stones. And it was just, this is primal. That was primal. I was so impressed because I know people this day and age that have literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in equipment that couldn't do 1/10 the quality work this little guy was doing with a hammer anvil and basically a file and scrapers. It's a craftsman. It's not the tools. So that's that. I mean, it's a very humbling experience to see these happen. Let's see what else. Yeah, I hope they're getting better. God, I hope they're getting better because Lord knows it couldn't get much worse. I mean, I went through 3 different cameras on this thing, and the one I got now, I think it's the best one of the bunch. My problem is sound quality, but when you're dealing with what I'm dealing with, working around the camera like this, trying to do the work down here with the camera's right here between me and the work. Sometimes if I turn my head, the sound goes. Now I turn my head back, it gets really loud. So I got to work on that. But as far as these talks go here, I think these are doing okay. I got a nice little camera right there. It's working. But I'm always interested in suggestions on how to improve it. You keep improving or you die, or you stagnate, which is almost worse than death in some things. But I'll keep slugging around. I need something to drink. I'm drying out. See, Alex, tomato. Oh, it's so good. That's the best kept secret in the country. You got to stay hydrated. The amount, especially down here, because it's unlike Southern Nevada where it came from, 9 years ago. It's very dry there, and you don't know how much you're sweating, and it just dries up right there. Down here, it's like walking inside of a fishbowl. But it's different places, different challenges. Just gotta stay drinking water. Special order for Clamato. How much are you buying the special order Clamato juice? Oh my God. Created a monster. But it's interesting as to far what you have to do in order to stay standing up down here. Oh, what else? Oh, got something new. I'm done. I just finished this puppy. This will not go on the website because I just sold it. Done one of my Woods pieces before. This has got the sandbar stag grip on it, like buffalo horn. Spacer here, here, phosphor bronze, pommel, ulcer plate. Get a real nice. I don't think I'll be able to get to the water on this. No, can't do it. Too fine. Very, very fine crystalline structure on this one. It's a nice knife. It's hot, hard, and red short steel. I'm learning a lot on working this stuff. It works a lot like the old Vasco Pacific Vasco ware, but with a really bad attitude. This stuff is red hard, red hard. Does not want to work with a hammer. And it does not want to work well under a press, as I said before, because if you don't do it right, you get these nice little cracks right there, which I did on purpose for book 4. You do not want this to happen because that piece is now destroyed. I'll just remelt it, put it back in, and start over again. Let's see, what have I got coming out? A couple more pattern wheel pieces. I've got to do got a couple of things, swords going on. Just finished this one here. This one just came out of the etch about a little less than an hour ago. This is that's a dagger blade I'm working on. This is my Quetzalcoatl pattern, which is basically a wavy feather. Let's see if I can get a little better pattern on it. Yeah, there we go. You see how the feather just waves. See, instead of going right down, it waves back and forth like a snake, a feathered serpent. And handle material. This is fun stuff. Let me pop this off here. About 15 years ago, I found a gentleman down in Las Vegas, downtown, who had a bowling supply. And I was talking to him. Somehow I stumbled into there. I don't remember how I got it. I ended up talking to him. But he gave me a couple of chunks of bowling ball material. Told him what I did. And he said, try this. So he gave me a couple of chunks because the bowling ball, the way it's made is that they have the core that balances everything out. Then they cast the outer core. Then they cast around that. I mix it around. Then they cast the outer layers around that. And this is the stuff from the outer layers. He said he can make it any thickness, any size you want. Thanks, Jack. I think it's looking out pretty good too. I'll post it when it's done. So he gave me this stuff. He used this stuff for pool cues and bowling balls and everything else. What this stuff is, I have no idea. It's some sort of acrylic polymer stuff. It's really bizarre. You can see how he lays it up in layers. Now this isn't solid when he does it. He says it's all done by liquid and laying it down, laying it down, laying it down, laying it down. He showed me a couple of times. I did try it. It's interesting. I'm nowhere as good as this guy is. The guy was amazing. But I will cover this in book 4. But this is the neat stuff. It can come in any color he wants. I have no idea how he does this, but the more I do know, the more dips and cuts into this and surface deformations and stuff like that. The valleys gives you more of the interesting effect visually because you're cutting down this pattern with steel, just sort of like there. And what's really nice about this, when you cut a flute in this, like a fluted grip, it goes bananas. I mean, it is very strict, very, very visually striking. So when I get this thing done, I will do a show and tell on that. Here again on the blade. Once more. Oh, there's a nice shot of the pattern right there. I had it there. What happened to it? I buggered it up. It's a little better. You see here, just waves. This is a stock order. It'll go up on the website when it's done. I got to do the scabbard. I'll probably do a shape and locket, set it with some sort of fancy schmancy stone on it, and something else. Let's see what else. Knife news. Great Britain has pretty much banned everything. They're going after. They went after zombie knives. Now they're going after swords and machetes. They went after swords. They went after zombie knives. Now they're going after machetes and anything that a couple inches. I don't know what's going on with these people. Put your hand behind the blade, and the camera should focus on your hand and show the blade pattern. I will do that. Let's see. Wow. Okay, that worked. Actually, that worked pretty good. Thank you, Jack. I appreciate it. I shall remember that. I shall file that away for future references. You see how the pattern just sort of like, undulates up and down, side to, up and down, up and down, up and down. That worked quite well. Thank you, Jack. I appreciate that. I learned something new tonight. This photography stuff is freaking amazing. But let's see, anything else? Anything else? Got a lot of work to do. We've got some things coming up that are going to be quite challenging in the next couple of weeks. So I got to prepare for that. So I need to get as much work done as I possibly can. Work on book 4 is coming along quite well. Here's book 4. Those are my backups. And here is my working copy. I'm off of woots right now, and I am back on fittings. I'll be covering pouring bar stock, alloying your own German silver, your own bronzes, your own brasses, other neat stuff, recycling old cartridge cases, and a couple other things. How to get away from the factory size stock and basically make your own custom sizes that you need. I found that I get a lot of waste when I buy, pre-sized stuff, and that's why I save all little bits and pieces and I melt them down in my own bar stock because it's less waste. Plus, it's good for the environment, and besides that, it saves money. I'm pretty tight when it comes to money. Got to be in this day and age. But if you can save a little and get better stuff, go ahead and do it. I have no problem recycling copper and brass and stuff like that. It melts. It's not that hard. You do have to be careful when you're doing it because it is molten metal and it can really ruin your day if you screw up. It's like everything else out in the studio. There's nothing out there that can't hurt you. Quite a few of them can kill you or make you wish you were dead. When you start getting into foundry work, that's an entirely different skill set, but it does come in handy in this line of work. I mean, being able to cast your own bar stock, your own fittings, even if it's just a rough casting, it still can, give you a little more artistic freedom than hammering it out of a bar. There's nothing wrong with hammering out of a bar. I mean, you can forge bronze, you can forge brass. You just got to know how. And there's limits to it. I mean, they were forging bronze back, 2,500 years ago. 3,000 years ago, they're forging bronze. There's artwork depicting it. There's artwork depicting power hammers. Power hammers, the Egyptians had them. The Romans had them. A lot of places had these water-powered hammers. Some of them were pretty neat. Even old Leonardo da Vinci came up with a really neat water-powered design using cams and pegs and levers. I've seen a couple models built in his drawings, and they work quite well. They can also be quite fast, too, depending on the size of the wheels and the rotations you get off the water. But, people can be really ingenious and pretty crafty. But anyway, let's see what else. Book 4. It should be finished up here by October, November. Ready for, I'm starting to do now the photography and the line drawings. So I get those over to my graphics person and have him do much better drawings than I could ever do because I can't draw and save this. Never said I could, and I know I can't. But once that's done, it'll be off the publisher, and the rest is up to them. Red Ink Press, also known as the Film, will be doing the publishing. And once I get a publication date, I will let everybody know. So, other than that, I don't know what else to say. I get any more phone calls? Not really. That's about it. So I guess we're gonna get out of here early tonight. Thank you, Jack, for showing up, and that hint about putting my hand behind the blade. That's really worked. I had no idea, but it did. So, everybody, a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for allowing me into your home. I got to go take care of a few things, and then tomorrow I'll be back out there swinging a hammer, finishing these things up, and after that, everything will go good. Thank you once again. May the wise Lord bless and keep you. Thank me for allowing you in my home. Please hit the like button, and please hit the subscribe button if you want to keep this channel going and keep this educational and not some minor TV after-school special drama that the other guys give. I'm not saying anything wrong with that, but that's just not for me. I'm into education. I'm not into entertainment. And if you get anything out of my sessions, you get anything out of my videos, I appreciate it. Let me know if there's anything you'd like me to cover next time. Mike Easton's tap. Well, I appreciate it. I really do, Jack. I really appreciate it. That's neat. I have no idea who Matt Easton is, but apparently he knows his stuff. So have a wonderful night. Alex, your mom's writing you a letter. And we did not get photobombed by Stuart, the Wonder Kitty. He's sleeping right now. That's why he spends most of his day sleeping. God, cat's got a rough life. So have a pleasant evening. Thank you once again. God bless. Wise Lord, keep me safe. Stay safe. And good night.